I've struggled for the longest with watching other women just show up and express themselves and be themselves without concerning themselves about judgment, ridicule, backlash. I've always struggled to just speak authentically, say what it is I need to say or want to say authentically without feeling as if I was going to hurt somebody else, embarrass somebody else, or someone wouldn't approve. I always struggle with that. And when I see other women able to do it, I had a level of envy when it comes to that because it's like you get to do this thing that I feel like I don't have and I don't possess and I can't do. Because that's what envy is. It's when you have resentment about what you think someone has that you don't have or you don't possess. I know on my TikTok post, spoke about how jealousy is a catalyst. And I spoke about how when you are jealous of another woman, you could use that as a means in a way to really find a way to show up for yourself, to see that thing within them that you're jealous of and actually use that for inspiration to motivate and inspire you to reveal it within yourself. And I said jealousy, but it's not jealousy. It's actually envy, because when you're jealous of someone, or if you mostly jealous about someone. You're jealous that someone is going to somehow try to take something that belongs to you that you possess, versus you being envy, where you are envious that someone has something that you don't possess and that you don't have. In this episode 16, turning your envy into your feminine energy healing. That's what we're talking about today on episode 16. My name is Melissa Renee. I am your host, of course, for Her Mind is Beautiful, where we explore the mind, we open the heart, and we dig deep, dig deep in healing the soul, growing the soul, expanding the soul, however you want to do it. So I want to ask a question. This is her reflection moment, her reflection segment. Did you ever scroll and see another woman living free, bold, authentic, and instead of celebrating, you feel a sting of envy? You a little envious. You a little like, I mean, she ain't all that. I mean, she alright. Have you ever felt that way before? In reality, a lot of times, like me feeling envy of certain women, you feeling envy of certain women is more about you not living out loud and not willing to put yourself out there to be fully seen in your true self, in your authentic self. So this is about, how we don't allow ourselves to embody who we are. And that's why that resentment and that envy comes up. And I want to talk about this because I don't want us to shame or shun being envious. Like, we need to have real conversations. We need to be open. We need to be transparent about these things, because when we really get to talking about these things, we can really get to the bottom and the root of things and gain perspective and gain understanding. And we won't find ourselves still dealing with the same old cycles of the envious friendships and the competing and the comparing, even when you see someone who's envious of you, you can gain the understanding that, okay, it's something about me that you feel like you don't possess, that you feel like you don't have. So that's why you are envious of me. And that could be an open conversation for you and that friend to say, hey, you can't be me, of course, because there's only one me, but I can't be you either. So what it is that you are envious of, you believe that you don't possess. You feel like you can't be as creative as me, like you don't have creativity, but you do, sis. You do have creativity. You just have to be able to channel your creativity where it works for you. You have to be able to look within yourself and tap in and connect to who you are, and you will see where your creativity lies. You will see how your creativity channels through certain things. Your creativity may not be creative in the hands of art and painting. Your creativity may lie in writing. Your creativity may lie in storytelling, the way you talk, the way you can speak. Your creativity might come into the way you can organize and put on an event and put things together. Like, you got the creativity, you just have to know how to channel it for yourself. Like I tell people all the time, the Most High did not create us in his likeness or her likeness, however you want to explain it. We weren't created in the likeness for some of us to have some things and some of us not to. Now, granted, some of us, we possess things naturally, innately. It just comes naturally to us. Some of us, we got to develop it. We got to do some work. We got to tap in. We got to connect. And we really got to do the work. But it doesn't mean that we don't have it. So the first thing I want to get into is the fear of being seen. Because, like I said, if you find yourself feeling envious of someone, or if someone is envious of you, a lot of times it is rooted in the fact that we feel like we don't possess that thing. And it's because we are fearful to show up and be seen for who we are authentically. That's a lot of times why you might find yourself looking and being envious of somebody else. Is because they are showing up in a way that you are not, by your choice, by your own fears, by your own fear of. So I'm going to break down why many Black women hide parts of themselves. Why are we as Black women hiding being seen? Why are we allowing ourselves to be in a position of feeling envious of our other sisters? Because we don't want to be seen. Because this is what's going to help you get out of being envious and allowing yourself to be seen. See, being seen and putting yourself out there and being your true self, that is what's going to help you get through, or help you alchemize, I should say, alchemize that trait of envy, because you're going to step out and be seen. But first, we got to discuss why you don't want to be seen in the first place. What's preventing you? And a lot of things, what's preventing us is fear of our flaws being exposed. We think if we show up and we're seen fully, wholly, people are going to see the imperfections too. They are. I'm not going to lie to you. They are. If you are living fully in your true self, being authentic, they are most certainly going to see the imperfections. But that's not a problem, because the imperfections are a part of you, and they are a part of how you are able to possess those gifts, live in your greatness. Like, you can't have the greatness without having the things that you had to work on to be the greatness, right? So you need all of those aspects of you. Your shadow self is definitely needed for you to step out into the light. If there's no shadow, then that means there's no stepping into your light. There's no shining, because it's shining all the time. It's always light. It's always light. Basically, what I'm saying is that you have to grow. You have to evolve. You cannot evolve without the lessons, or in the words of Malice, okay, from the clips, there's a L in every lesson. I love that line. There's a L in every lesson. So whereas you looking at your weaknesses, your flaws, your failures, like, oh, they're the worst and you're embarrassed by it. No, those are catalysts as well to help you grow, to help you evolve, to teach you about yourself, to gain a lesson and learn things about who you are, how far you've come, what you may have missed, what else you need to learn. So, for instance, I've talked about how I've struggled with some things. I've currently been struggling with still attaching my worth and my value to results, to my outcome. So, in doing this podcast, in offering coaching one-on-ones to Black women for their feminine energy, or to begin their journey with feminine energy or connect with their feminine energy, I've been struggling thinking like, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is why it's hard for me to build my community. Maybe this is hard for me, why it's so hard for me to get clients, because maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I shouldn't be coaching. Maybe I shouldn't be doing these things. I had to sit with that. I had to feel that. I had to reveal that. I'm putting that out there. I'm exposing that right now. Because in exposing that, it allows me to be raw, transparent, authentic, and show up as me. This is who I am. Okay? I'm not going to show up as, oh, I have it together and I'm not struggling, and I'm not showing up as that, because that's not who I am. And by me showing up as that means I have to continue to perform and continue to show up in that way when that's not how I feel. I'm pretending to have it all together, but I feel like I'm ripping at the seams. I don't have it all together. We hide those parts of us. We don't want people to see our flaws and our insecurities and what we struggle with. It's like the process I had to go through with being okay with being wrong. I feel like that's the first step too, of just being seen in your flaws. When you can be okay with being wrong and say, oh, I was wrong about that. I'm saying being wrong, something you was heavily convicted in, and realize you was wrong. And you can say, oh, I was wrong. I was completely wrong by that. And be okay with that. Even when people come and say, and see, you was going in and you was saying, and you was dead wrong. Even when people want to just kind of like rub your face in and like that, okay, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay accepting that. I'm okay with that. And I've had this discussion before, and I'm bringing it up again because I had to, in the process of how I was feeling the way I was feeling, I had to be okay with sitting in my discomforts of feeling unwanted, devalued, unappreciated, just not enough. I'm not doing enough. I had to sit with that feeling. I didn't try to fix it. I just sat with that feeling. And like I say, that's one of our issues as Black women. We fear our flaws are going to be exposed. And if they're exposed, then we feel like we're still not of value, we still not of worth. We now think that if you see my flaws, then that means that my value or my worth has declined. No, it hasn't. The fear of being taken advantage of if we allow ourselves to be soft or vulnerable. We fear that if we allow ourselves to be soft, vulnerable, we express how we feel, then that allows people then to throw things back up in our face. Or that allows people then to take advantage of us. Oh, you see my weaknesses, you see where I feel, like I'm inadequate, I'm not good enough, so now you're gonna come in and try to take advantage of that by maybe preying on my weakness. Oh, you're enough, and then stab me in my back. Like, that's the fear that we have. Fear not being able to have our true desires. This is another reason why we fear being seen. Because if I allow myself to really speak on the desires of my heart that I want, and I put it out there, I might can't have it. Or somebody might laugh at my desires and say, that's silly. They might judge it and say, why would you want that? Why would you desire that? Y'all see what y'all did to Aisha Curry? She came out there and spoke about her desires. My desire, I want to be desired. And y'all was like, oh, you a teacher seeking whore? You was an attention seeking whore. Y'all, I might have too, though. That was a little while ago. I was at a different point in my life. I can admit, I don't know. I got to go back and channel back, like, what was my thought process? I definitely felt like she was definitely seeking attention. She was definitely wanting to feel, she wanted that attention. However, honestly, it's a lot of women who struggle with wanting to feel desired by men and wanting that attention due to conditioning and us believing that men have to want us in order for us to feel valuable, or our stock somehow is high because a man desires you. Now, some of our desires aren't that. Some of our desires is we desire a lifestyle. I want to have a lifestyle where I have a nice house and a nice car, but we don't want to say that because we don't want to seem surface or materialistic. But even with that, and speaking on Aisha Curry, if you're not honest and open about the desires that you want, you can't unpack and get to the root of why that is your desire in the first place. Because if you say, oh, I just desire to have nice things, nice this, nice that, if you unpack that, if you speak that out loud and you're honest about that, you can unpack that and realize that, okay, it's not necessarily that I'm materialistic or that I desire nice things. It's the fact that I desire to feel comfortable. I desire to be able to have the freedom and the means to do what I want without having to worry about, oh, how am I going to pay for this? How I'm going to have this? Like, what it could really be rooted in is financial freedom. That's what it could really be rooted in. What Aisha Curry desire of wanting to be desired could really be rooted in her own self-love, her loving herself, her looking at herself as someone of value and someone to be desired. That's just like me, like my desire to be seen in her. I have a desire to be seen and heard by people. I unpack that, and it's really the desire for me to see and hear myself, for me to view me the way that I want other people to view me. I have to view myself that way first. And once I start viewing myself that way, and once I start seeing myself that way, and once I start hearing myself, then it really doesn't matter the way other people view and see me. It's how I see me and how I'm going to continue to show up as me, because now I see me. I see my gifts. I used to think that, like I said, my desire was to be seen and be heard. And it was like, I want to be seen and be heard. Why? Why? Because I have something to say. So then say it, Melissa. If you have something to say and you know what you have to say is wisdom, if you know what you have to say is love, if you know what you have to say is passion and with intention, say it. Why are you waiting for somebody to recognize it or validate you in that or see you or hear you? You see you, you hear you. And that's why I do what I do. Whether I get 100 views, 0 views, or trillions. Okay? Because this is me validating myself every time I come on here and every time I speak. All of those things are our fears of being seen. And now we'll go into, like I say, the backlash, the judgment, the culture weight, the fear of the backlash of why we don't want to be seen, because it relates to cancel culture and being outcasted. So me saying something, like for me, for instance, I got something to say. I want to be seen and heard because I feel like I have valuable things to say. I have wisdom and jewels to share. However, I'm not showing up for myself and I'm not seeing myself if I'm like walking on eggshells and saying, I want to say that, but I ain't going to say that because I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I don't want to step on people's toes. I don't want somebody to cancel me. I don't want somebody to. And it's like, why? If I'm saying it from love, if I'm not saying it out of spite or out of hurt, not to be vindictive, not to out of anger, but I'm saying it from a space of love and it's intentional, then say it. Now, if I'm wrong, then I don't mind coming back because the whole point is, if my intentions of saying what I was saying was not for the purpose to harm or to hurt, I don't have a problem coming back and saying I was wrong. Because that wasn't my intentions. Even if I'm emotional in the moment and I lash out and say something, my intentions isn't to hurt people, even when I'm in my emotions. So I shouldn't have a problem coming back and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. So why hide from that? The fear of judgment. You're a fear of being seen because your family and friends gonna judge you on social media. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I got rid of Facebook because I felt like anytime I showed up and I was seen, I felt like I had to explain myself. I had to defend myself. And maybe that was me and my own insecurities, in my own head, in my own victim mentality of feeling the need that I had to explain myself. Because if I didn't have the fear of being seen, I would have said what I said. And if you don't like it, as Nene Leakes say, and I quote every time, you don't like it. We do have a fear of being judged. And you cannot fully show up and be fully seen if you are worried about what other people are thinking and what other people are going to say. Like, everybody is not going to agree with you. Everybody is not going to be okay with your point of view, your lifestyle, your mentality. Somebody is going to disagree with it. And we got to be okay with that. Somebody is going to speak and judge, and we got to be okay with that. Like, that's like me hearing when Cardi B said, she went to a therapist once, but she stopped going because it's hard to sit and talk to somebody who can't relate about getting criticized by thousands and thousands of people. What do you mean? And I don't think it's easy at all. I don't think it's easy, but I don't think it ever will be if you focus on that. And it's plenty of artists and musicians who get critiqued, who get judged on a regular all the time. That, unfortunately, is the nature of the business. For one, you got people who judge you just in your average everyday life. People judging you. You got family members judging you. You got friends judging you. You got neighbors, co-workers, church members judging you. So yeah, if you put it on a higher scale where now you are a national celebrity, a universal celebrity, of course the impact and the judgment is going to be more than it was when you wasn't. The whole point about it is that's what it is. So you can't give the excuse of the lack of emotional intelligence because you don't like the fact that people judge you or criticize you. It's things and ways, things you can do. Like if you have the fear of being seen, if you have the fear of that, don't get off of social media. Like I said, I got off Facebook. I got off Facebook because I did not feel like constantly having to explain myself or defend myself based off of where it says what's on your mind. This is on my mind. This is how I feel. So I'm going to say it. You know what I'm saying? Sorry if it rubs you the wrong way. And and don't get me wrong, I'm all good for a nice little debate. I don't have a problem with a debate. I don't have a problem with a difference of opinion, but it's just when certain posts and certain conversations I had, people really taking it personal. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing that triggered me because I'm like, what's with the victim mentality? What's with taking this so personal? Like this is a personal hit at you. Well, I won't say that. I can understand, like that's the quote, and they say hit dogs will holler. So even if I put something out that's generic, and if you get offended by it, that means you are taking it personal because it is speaking to some issues or some things you might have going on with you personally or maybe adjacent to you. So the whole point about it is that people gonna judge you. That's just what it is. And like I'm sure as I grow, as my notoriety grows here on YouTube, I'm gonna have more people judging me, saying this, that, and the third about me. And I'm not gonna act like it's not going to affect me or make me feel a way. But what I will say is that I have to learn how to process that in a way to benefit me, not in a way where I lash out and I'm giving these people my energy and I'm giving these people the time and not knowing when to cut off social media or not read the comments or cut off comments or like plenty things to me that I feel like Cardi B can do that will allow her that to get out her headspace. But you can't say like I can't take it, but you reading every comment and you worrying about what everybody has to say. Like that's not healthy at all. It's not healthy to sit there when you have things you can do, like maybe even get off of, let somebody run your social media. You don't have to be on social media. It's the fear of the culture weight, feeling as if I said this one, the culture weight. I use this as a prime example. Rashida and Kirk. The way y'all sit here and get at Rashida because she wants to stay with her man, Kirk, the way y'all be sitting there dragging her, that's what I mean when I say culture weight. Why are y'all angry about a woman who wants to stay with her husband after he had a child or cheated? Baby, it's plenty of that going on in our own family. Your big mama mama did it. Stayed with your granddad. You ain't dragging her through the mud. You ain't calling her out her name. You ain't talking about she dumb. This is her life, honey, if that's what she want to do. And I know y'all gonna get mad, and I say this and I'm gonna say it again. Cheating is not the end of the world. Okay? Y'all think that's the only thing that a man can do to you in your marriage or your relationship that's demeaning? That's embarrassing? Because it ain't. It's not at all. I could go down some lists that would really make you think again about that. So the fact that y'all sitting here dragging this woman for staying with her man because the culture weight is, as a black woman, you can't stay with your man after he cheat on you. Who wrote that? Who put that? Who made that a rule? Who said that I can't take my husband back after he cheat on me? Is many of y'all out here taking y'all man back after he done cheat and cheat and cheat and cheat? And who's to say he don't have a baby out there on you? You just don't know. Cause let's be real, we ain't know about Big Papa, granddaddy Jake, whatever. We ain't know about his outside kids until the funeral. So it's the audacity, and that's what I mean. That's why a lot of us don't show up and live in our authentic self and be seen for who we are truly, because of this cultural weight that's put on us to say, oh, as a Black woman, you shouldn't take this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't put up with that, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. Says who? Says who? Says who said that I cannot rekindle my relationship or stay with my husband if he cheated? Why I can't go and we get counseling? Why we can't make our relationship work? Why can't I be with somebody and we have some dysfunction, some issues, and we get counseling and we heal and we keep it moving? Why I got to be dumb because I won't just let go of my relationship just because we having problems? Why is that dumb? Why is that not knowing how to work through things and not running at the first sign of trouble? But in this, though, moving on, this fear that we have of showing up, the fears of showing up due to judgment, due to culture weight, due to the backlashes, due to flaws being exposed and being taken advantage of, all of this fear, all it does is amount to suppression. That means that we start to suppress who we really are. We start to suppress our feelings and emotions. We start to do all of that. And then that has us disconnecting from our feminine energy. And when we become disconnected with our feminine energy, we suppress who we really are. So now we suppressing who we are authentically, because we suppressing our desires. We suppressing our emotions and our flaws and our imperfections. We're suppressing our vulnerabilities and insecurities, and all of these things are a part of who we are. And when we suppress that, we are suppressing who we are authentically. So if you think you walking around being your true authentic self, but you masking the fact that you masking your own insecurities, your own problems, your own challenges that you facing because you trying to make it seem like you have it all together, sis, I am here to tell you, you are not operating in your authentic self. You're not. You being fake. That's the truth. And it's nothing to feel ashamed of. It's nothing to get mad about, because I was being fake too. I wasn't saying things that I needed to say to people. Like I said, unseen, unheard, like not using my voice, not being authentic with what I had to say. I wasn't doing that. I was being fake. I wasn't being genuine. I wasn't being in my authentic self. And disconnection from your feminine energy, that allows you to connect to your authentic self. I discussed this on episode 15 about feminine energy. If you hadn't watched that, go watch it, because it's only 93 of y'all, 96 of y'all out there watching. I need more of y'all to go watch that, because the whole purpose and understanding of the importance of your feminine energy, because I'm realizing that a lot of us as Black women talk about softness and soft era and don't understand the soft life, the soft era, the soft girl life, whatever. All of that is nothing but your feminine energy. When they talk about you being soft, that's your feminine energy. And that softness is your vulnerability. It's your way of putting down, letting your guard down, showing people who you are. When you cry, when you want to feel sensual and sexy, some of us don't even know how to be sensual. We don't even know how to do that. Don't know how to have any type of sensuality, because we don't know how to connect with our feminine energy, because we really don't understand what our feminine energy is there to do. We think because we put on some sexy clothes, we being sensual. No, you not. Just because you twerking don't make you sensual. Just because you posing with your bunkie out does not mean that's sensuality, because you don't even have to do that to express a level of sensuality. You don't. It's in you, not on you. And I'm going to keep saying that. So when the disconnection from your feminine energy, that is going to have you disconnecting with your authentic self. So her reflection time. Think about a time where you suppress yourself to fit in or to not stand out because of fear you wouldn't be accepted or understood. How did you feel in that moment? Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel like you were being fake? Did you feel seen? So if our fear is suppressing us to be seen in our authenticity, meaning if our fear is what's keeping us from showing up as our true self, we can now discuss and go more into details of what happens when we continue to suppress and disconnect with who we truly are. What happens to us when we stop showing up and being authentic and disconnect from our feminine energy? Like, how does suppressing and disconnecting from who we are authentically, how does that show up in our reality? Like, what does that look like in our reality? And what it looks like in our reality is our shadow side. It's where our envy comes in. This is where we become envious. So our suppression and disconnect from who we are authentically starts to show up in our reality as envy, with resentment, comparing, and competing. And y'all already know that, because y'all be quick to talk about a friend who jealous of you, or who envious, I should say, of you, about how they envious of you, and they always comparing, competing, and resenting you. That's how it comes up. You having resentment for somebody is showing up. This resentment you have for somebody is showing up a lot of times. It's because of your inability to connect with who you are authentically. Your inability to connect with your feminine energy, which is going to allow you to connect with your authenticity. That's why you comparing, because you can't see who you are. You're not living fully as you. So because you're not living fully as your true self, you gotta keep looking and seeing what the other person doing. You using them as a reference instead of looking within and using yourself. Then you gotta compete. You got everything they do, you gotta do. So normalize envy as an indicator, not a moral flaw. That's what we have to do. We have to start normalizing being envious, because we sit here and we be acting like we don't get envious of each other at times. And that's the problem. Not owning and being honest about being envious. Yes, you do. You do. You're jealous. You've been envious of somebody before due to your own insecurities. I know it don't sound good to say, but it needs to be said, because if we keep suppressing this and we keep lying to ourselves, we are not going to be able to do the healing work that we need to do so that we can show up as our true selves and our higher selves. So we can fully walk into our purpose. We can fully reveal and extract and use our gifts to its fullest potential. We cannot do that if we're going to sit here and lie and act like you ain't envious of somebody because you wasn't able to, or you won't allow yourself to show up authentically as yourself. You feeling a way, you feeling a way about somebody. I can't think, I just don't know. It's something about her. No, it ain't something about her. It's the fact that no, it is something about her. It's the fact that she's living out loud in her truth, and you making excuses why you can't, and you lying to yourself, telling yourself, I'm living in my truth. No, you not. That's why you over there having resentment about what she's saying or what she doing or how she living, because she living in her truth. You over there talking about, look at her, she got that house, she thinks she all that. It ain't always about material stuff. She always about material. She got to have the ladies. You talking like that and you got a problem with that, it's because that's what you want. You really want to be out there living like that. But you feel like you can't. You feel like you don't have the means, or you feel like it's unattainable. So you have to self-reflect on the root cause of your envy. Like I just said, you gotta, you looking at somebody, you feeling the way, get to the root cause of why you feel that way about that person. So, why do you feel envious? Because this person is dressing the way they dress, or talk the way they talk, or move the way that they move, or saying the things that they say. I find myself, that's how I know that when I look at certain people and I have a stinged feeling of envy, it's because like this person is speaking authentically, they're speaking with confidence, they're speaking with passion, like they know what it is they talking about, or they do know what they is that they're talking about. And I feel like I can't do the same. I feel like I can't speak authentically, or if I try, people are going to see that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's the imposter syndrome. It's the imposter syndrome. But it's not until I realize I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I do. When it comes to this feminine energy, and when it comes to this feminine energy healing and journey, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about because I live it. I'm going through it. I'm journeying through, connecting, living in my authentic self. This is what I'm currently doing. So I'm not telling you something I don't know. I'm telling you because of what I went through, because of the many years of not living in my authentic self, being disconnected from my feminine energy, and what it taught me, and what I learned, and what I was challenged with, and what I struggled with, and just constantly feeling like I'm in survival mode and I got to prove and I got to perform, and attaching my worth and my value to results, to achievements, to accomplishments. I know what I'm talking about. So now I can speak with so much conviction and so much passion. And I can look at these other women now and feel inspired instead of feeling doubtful or envious because they doing something that I can't do. Like I remember I used to want to be on here because, I'm an astrology girl, and I used to want to sit here and talk about astrology the way I saw some people talk about it. And I used to feel like envious about that. But that ain't my calling. Even though I love, I'm an astrology girl, and I watch, the people that I watch talk about it and discuss it. That ain't my bag. It ain't my bag. If it is my bag, or it'll reveal, it'll come, but it ain't my bag. As of right now, I don't see it as my bag. It's my bag to learn. It's my bag to be taught. It ain't my bag to teach it. Okay? Because I still don't understand how to do the aspects in the transits, baby. I just don't have that. That ain't me. And acknowledge unmet needs and aspiration. Acknowledge, once you self-reflect on the root cause of why you feel envy, acknowledge the unmet needs and aspirations. Like I just said, I acknowledge the unmet needs and aspirations. The unmet needs is that I'm not speaking on the things that I know. I'm not allowing myself to speak authentically, openly about what I feel passionate about, what I know, what I want to do. So, her reflection moment. Y'all ready? Let's go. Recall a time when being around someone had you feeling inadequate or insecure about yourself, but you didn't want to admit it. Let me read that again. Recall a time when being around someone had you feeling inadequate or insecure about yourself, but you didn't want to admit it. What do you think that says or means about you if you admit it to being envious of someone? What do you think that's going to say about you if you admit that you was envious, or is You think that's going to diminish you, devalue you. You think that's going to mean that you are, you're not a girl's girl, that you're not a good person. No, it's just going to say you human. Okay, so when you feel envious, it's your soul pointing to something you secretly desire, but don't feel safe to claim. So let's talk about how we can use envy as a positive catalyst to reframe it as a mirror, not a weapon. So we can use this envy to reflect what it is about us that we secretly desire, but don't feel safe to claim. And I'm going to go deeper on this maybe on another podcast, because I do really want to go into how we really suffer with not being honest about our desires. We really have a problem with that. I will see a lot of women talk about what it is that they don't want. I want to decenter men. I'm decentering men. When you know your desire, your want is to be in a relationship, to have a man. Don't go away from that. Don't suppress that. Be honest about it, and then unpack why you want that. You may unpack daddy issues. You may unpack mommy issues. Who knows what you may unpack if you are honest about the desire. Now we're going to talk about jealousy to healing. That's how we're going to envy to healing. That's how we're going to reframe and use that envy as a catalyst to reframe it as a reflection or a mirror to us for where we can heal. So first, we're going to identify the root cause. We're going to teach how to pause and ask, what about her? What about what it is she's doing is triggering me? And what does that reveal about what I desire? So when I see them talking and they're talking about astrology and the sun and the moon, and they're giving you readings and stuff like that, what about that triggers me? And what does that reveal about what I desire? And it triggers me because it's like, that's something I want to do. But is it that I want to talk about astrology? I mean, I love astrology. I like astrology. It's very instrumental to me, for me. But is it because it's astrology, or is it because they have the confidence to talk about what they know with passion and conviction? And maybe that's what I desire. I desire to have the confidence to talk about something that I know that will be instrumental and helpful to my community out there. That's what I desire. Like I said, I desire to be seen and be heard. I desire to be seen and be heard. Acknowledge unmet needs. For example, you're envious of the way your friend is able to speak her mind, be herself. Maybe I desire to be seen as my authentic self and feel comfortable and confident doing so. I needed to feel comfortable in being seen and being heard. I need to feel comfortable in talking about what it is that I'm passionate about. Like I say, I like astrology. I'm an astrology enthusiast. That's not necessarily a passion, but it's definitely something that I like, and it's not something that I'm researching, talking about, living every morning, noon, and night. I'm not breathing and living astrology. So that's not where my passion is. My passion is talking about the healing journey from the perspective of going within, connecting with your feminine energy, being your authentic self, balancing your masculine energy, ridding the victimhood mentality. That's where my passion is. Separate the person from the achievement. Focus on the specific attributes that led to their success, their discipline, their skills, or mindset, rather than seeing the person as flawless. So instead of me looking at these people where they speak and they're talking about astrology and reading this stuff and just being great at what they do, instead of just looking at it like, oh, they're just flawless and perfect and I just could never be that, like I could never do that, like speak on the fact that okay, they show up every day, they put 100% into what they do, they live what they do, they don't just go and look up what they don't just go and look up and say, oh, what's the horoscope for today and come on there and read it. Like, no, this is something that they do. They treat this like a job. They're disciplined in what they do. And that's a real revelation I had to have the past couple of days when I was going through my insecurities of feeling like, why am I doing this? I can't control when people will catch on. I can't control when people will uh, uh, want my services. But I can control how I can put 200% into my content. I can speak with passion with my content. I can go in and make sure that when I create this content, that I create it in a way that is captivating, that is professional, that I put 200% in and become disciplined and just enhance and perfect my skills. Like I can go in on that. That's what I can influence. And if I keep doing that, it's no question that I'm going to attract the people that I am supposed to attract. Get to know their journey. Ask them questions about the steps they took, the setbacks they faced, and the persistence required for their success. This humanizes them and provides a roadmap for your own growth. So instead of being envious of your friend of her being creative and maybe imaginative and thinking outside of the box, ask her, like, how do you do that? How do you think outside of the box that way? Like, how do you channel that creativity? Like, how are you so creative? And you be surprised of the things you hear. That friend might tell you like, oh, I have my roadblocks. I have when I'm stumped sometimes, and this is what I have to do to get back in my bag, to get creative. Like I can really be creative when this and when that, when, I'm feeling very inspired, which then you can take that and say, what inspires me? Practice gratitude. Focus on what you already have rather than what you lack. Keeping a gratitude journal can be a powerful antidote to discontent. That's so very true. Like I said, when I watched the other YouTubers, content creators talk about astrology, like I say, I'm focusing on what I lack. I'm not an astrologist. Yes, I like astrology. I know some stuff about astrology, but I ain't that girl. I'm not in depth with that. I don't know the layers to that. So why am I focusing on trying to build content with that? That's not where I'm full in. Where I am full in is where I need to focus on, and I'm full in feminine energy. I was captivated when I came to understand feminine and masculine energy. I delved into understanding more about feminine and masculine energy. And I delve in more when it came to feminine energy as it relates to me being a Black woman and what we face and how we are so disconnected or detached from our feminine energy due to the conditioning and the systemics that we have to deal with in this country. Abundance mindset. Replace the scarcity mindset, the belief that there's not enough to go around, with an abundance mindset. Remind yourself that someone else's success does not prevent you from achieving your own. I'll read it again. Remind yourself that someone else's success does not prevent you from achieving your own. I read that for me. So, as much as there may be other feminine energy coaches out here, like, that's their journey. That's not me. Okay. And what's one more feminine energy coach? It don't matter how many out there, they ain't me and I'm not them. Like I said, I did a TikTok where I spoke to everyone talking about like maybe the way that I coach as a feminine energy coach may be unorthodox for some women, which I could see why. That's why I do the clarity call to see if we are matched, because in me coaching you, like, I'm not here to pacify you. I'm not here to, like, oh, you can do it, you're great. Not to say I don't do that, but I'm going to do it in a way where it makes you have to see you for who you are. Like, I'm not here to do it for you. You're here to do it. So I'm not here to validate you. I'm here for you to start to validate yourself. I'm here to get you out of your victimhood mindset. And yes, you do have a victimhood mindset, because I had a victimhood mindset. And even if you say I don't have a victimhood mindset, yes, if you feel like you don't have a victimhood mindset because you're not blaming other people, like I said in that TikTok live, when you're blaming yourself, it's still a victimhood mindset. You are still living in a mindset where you feel like you have to blame yourself. And it's not holding yourself accountable. Holding yourself accountable is just simply taking responsibility for the actions or the part that you play in the outcome that happened. But it's not downing yourself. It's not belittling yourself. It's not speaking or diminishing yourself. That's not what that's not what accountability is. Okay? So I have a feminine energy practice that I created that, of course, if you are a client of mine, you will be able to use. And if you are in the community, Attract Your Tribe community, you will be able to use. And especially with my exclusive group that I will have out in the beginning of October, Soft and Black Collective, my exclusive group, we definitely are going to be using the practice that I created. But you can use any feminine energy practice. But this one I created is called Feeling, 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 embodying, filling up my cup. And I'm just going to just briefly tell y'all how to use filling up my cup. So filling up my cup, you would first identify the emotion that's you pouring in. And then you would ask yourself, what are you feeling? You would ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where in my body am I feeling this? So with understanding like how to heal and how to alchemize or transform that envy, when you feel that envy, you can identify the emotion like, okay, I feel away. I feel some resentment. I feel envious, however you want to say it. You identify it. That's you pouring into your cup. And you ask yourself, what am I feeling? You answer it, and then you say, where in my body am I feeling this? Am I feeling it here? Am I feeling like tension and tightness in my chest? Am I feeling like tension in my shoulders, in my neck? Am I feeling like, the bubblies in my stomach? Or am I feeling like jitters in my womb, in my legs? You kind of like identify the feeling or the sensations that you're feeling. Then you identify your emotions as sensations, like I just said. So where in my body am I feeling? Like I say, you talk about how you feel. Then you identify your emotions as sensations rather than labeling them negative or positive. So instead of being like, oh, I feel, sad, I feel mad, I feel, and naming all the negative or positive, we're just going to identify them as sensations. So like I say, you might say tension, jittery, upbeat, rigid, trapped, heavy, resistance. That's what you're going to say. And then the next thing is you're going to allow the emotion, and that's holding the cup. So once you pour in and you identify the emotions and where you're feeling that at and express them and identify the emotions as the sensations in your body, then you're going to hold that cup. That means you're going to allow the emotions to sit with you. You're going to sit with them. And maybe even if you want to place a hand where that sensation rests, like if it's in the chest, maybe if it's in the shoulders, maybe if it's in the womb. And then you're going to say, I allow myself to feel this fully. It is safe for me to feel. I allow myself to feel this fully. This is safe for me to feel. Because we need to know that it is okay to feel the feelings that you feel. I know I had a problem a lot with my anxiety, and it used to just heighten me even more because I didn't like feeling the feeling. And I didn't understand that I was feeling anxiety, to be honest with you. I just knew I just would feel this feeling. And then I started to learn how to sit with the feeling. Even if I have to deep breathe through that feeling, like deep breathe through it. Like even if if you feeling anger, like just maybe rage, maybe just destruction, just whatever sensation it is, just breathe through that. But you sit with it, place a hand where that sensation rests, say, I allow myself to feel this fully, and I am safe, or it is safe for me to feel. Then you breathe into that area. And then notice if the sensation shifts, or does it expand, or does it soften. So when you breathe in that, you're going to notice if the sensation, like if it moves, maybe it goes from your chest, now it's down to your stomach or to your womb. Or if it expands, if that feeling in your heart gets bigger and bigger, or if it softens and it becomes less and less intense. Then you release or integrate the emotion, and that's when we're going to pour out. So you poured in, then you held the cup. Now you're pouring out the cup. And it says, if the emotion eases, imagine pouring it gently out of your cup into the earth where it can be recycled. Because energy does not what? Die. It only transfers. So if it eases, if it softens, if it's not as intense, then just visualize you pouring that out, like you've poured it out. If it lingers, then practice self-compassion. That means don't be hard on yourself. Don't down yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. No victim mentality. This is a part of me, and I give it space without judgment. That's what you say. If it lingers, this is a part of me, and I give it space without judgment. And this is where sometimes you just have to allow your body to just flow and process it through. Then we replenish. That's filling up your cup with what you need presently. So you're going to fill it up. F-E-L-F-E-E-L. Filling it up. And all of this means this is just feeling, embodying, and feeling. So you're going to ask yourself, what does my cup need right now? Does it need comfort? Does it need joy? Does it need stillness? doesn't need softness. And then you fill yourself back up intentionally. You can use affirmations, you can use breath, you can use movement, or if you have a ritual yourself, you can then use a ritual. So that's my filling up my cup feminine energy practice. And it's just something that it's not to say that these aren't certain things in this is not using other feminine energy practice, but I did this way because it was something that helps me to like feel, embody and feel, since I'm working on embodying and feeling the feel. Even in, to be honest, when I created it, it was more so to allow myself to know how to feel good about myself, to know how to like just take in and feel the greatness and feel the good things about myself without trying to play it down. Like me fully allow myself to fully be seen and embrace that and embody that. So a journal prompt you can use is, when was the most recent time envy showed up through me? Like when was what recent time did you feel envy of someone, just even if it's just a small, a smidge bit or a situation? And did you try to suppress it? If so, how? So that's a journal prompt you can use. When was the most recent time envy showed up through me? And did I try to suppress it? If so, how? And an affirmation you can use too into healing and processing and using envy as a catalyst is the affirmation: acknowledging when I'm envious allows me to honor and lean into what I truly desire. Allow Acknowledging when I'm envious allows me to honor and lean into what I truly desire. So now that we understand the results of not allowing ourselves to be seen as our true self or authentic self, we know what happens. How does this relate to connecting with our feminine energy and our feminine energy journey? And this is when we get to speaking of how we can live out loud through our authenticity through our feminine energy and our feminine energy journey. So, feminine energy is authenticity. It's authenticity because it's tapping in, connecting to being, sitting with your vulnerabilities, being comfortable in the discomfort, not performing or hiding, just being true to who you are. That is feminine energy. Allowing. And when you allow, what are you just allowing yourself to do? Just to be who? You. Be you. That is feminine energy. That is what connecting to your feminine energy is. So when I'm saying I'm coaching you or showing you or teaching you how to live in your true self or how to show up authentically you, this is your feminine energy. Your feminine energy is showing up authentically you, is being you. That's your feminine energy, being you. And when you show up being your authentic self by being or connecting with your feminine energy, expressing your feminine energy, going on your feminine energy journey, you are going to face the shadows of you. You're going to face the fear, the envy. Like I tell people, you like, if we weren't supposed to experience the feelings and emotions of being envious, of being fearful, of anger, of resent, if we weren't supposed to experience those things, those feelings wouldn't exist. They exist for a reason. They're polarities for a reason. It's a reason why, we have day and night. It's a reason why we have up and down. There can't be one without the other. There just can't be. That's just what it is. It's a reason why it's an angel and the devil on the shoulder when you see some shows or cartoons, because you need both of these things. Both of these things allow you to unlock a freedom to embody your vulnerabilities, your softness, love, and like all of these things. You can't think that by cutting off the things that you feel are negative, like, oh, I'm going to suppress fear, I'm going to suppress envy, I'm going to suppress the shadow stuff, the things that I feel like is negative, and think that you're going to be able to embody and feel all the great things, the happiness, the joy. You're not. You're disconnecting from that, because all of these things are just authentically you, who we are as human beings. This is who we are. So when we try to act like they don't exist or not acknowledge them, we are also then cutting off another part of us, disconnecting and detaching from the other part. You got to feel the pain if you want to feel the healing. If you don't have one, how you going to know or experience the other? Okay, you need the sunshine is great, but you need the rain too. Why? Because the rain waters the earth. Everything has a purpose. The shadow side of you, the things you deem as negative, it has a purpose. It is there to be measurements, to help us grow, to allow us to see the things about ourselves that we can grow from and learn from, and use in a beneficial way too, to be honest with you. As Black women, like I say, I feel like we are naturally healers. I feel like when we start to shift, when we start to heal, then the world heals. And the world doesn't need another performer. The world doesn't need somebody showing up as what everybody else is in this world already. We don't need the same things. We need you to be present. We need you to be seen. We need you to be fully seen and fully you, your authentic self, your feminine energy. That's what's needed right now. And that's what's going to help to shift society, to shift the world. I believe in this. I do. You could say I'm crazy. You could say, girl, I don't know about that. But hey, I'll be delusional. I don't mind living in my delusion of feeling like we as Black women, we can shift and change the narrative in this culture, in this world right now, just simply by shifting our mindset, by healing our hearts, becoming one with our spirit and soul. I just do, because we are the co-creators of our reality. We are the co-creators of our reality. We are innately compassionate, healing. It's not hard for us to do these things. Okay? It's a reason why we struggle so hard, and why we are so resentful and guarded. It's because we have such a soft, loving heart. It's because we naturally want to heal and love. Fear of being seen is going to lead to envy, which is going to lead to the opportunity for self-awareness. Allow you to be aware of where you are, which is a path back to your authenticity. So don't think that your fear of being seen, which leads to you being envy, is just the end all be all. No, you can use that envy as a catalyst to take the opportunity to be aware of who you are, be aware of yourself, getting to know yourself, and putting you back on the path of that feminine energy journey, back on the path to your authenticity. So I invite listeners to another Her Reflection, which is the last Her Reflection. Where am I still hiding? What does my jealousy reveal about what I desire? I want y'all to reflect on that. Invite some listeners and share this with your friends, with your sis, with your mom, with your aunties, with your girlfriends, all of that good stuff. Shoot, share it with your boo too. You know what I'm saying? He can tap into his feminine energy too. It's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to leave y'all with this affirmation. There's only one you in this world. And the only person who can do you is who? You. There's no other version of you. Don't deprive yourself or the world of all the gifts and purpose you have to offer by not showing up as your true, authentic self. I guess that's not really affirmation, that's just a word. So I'll leave y'all with that word. And definitely, if you are ready to start your journey, your feminine energy journey, and you just getting started, definitely you can join my community, Attract Your Tribe. I'm in there. I have monthly themes where we are always actively every day tapping in to connecting with our feminine energy, challenging ourselves with discomforts, being open and transparent. And it's a safe, sacred space for us, by us. So definitely tap in that for more support in turning your shadow feelings into feminine energy growth by joining Attract Your Tribe. But if you just want to have a one-on-one moment with me, if you want to start your feminine energy journey and you don't know where to begin, you don't know how to connect with your feminine energy, but you just know you're tired of just surviving and being survival mode, you tired of walking around with this woe is me victimhood or victim mentality, and you're just ready to really walk in your purpose and be seen, to be yourself, to be confident in being yourself, to start attracting, to start living a life of ease, softness, then you can definitely book a one-on-one clarity call first with me. And then if you want to, after that, if you want to book a session, if you want to do it for a month, a couple of months, however you choose to do, you can do that. You can definitely go to softandblack.com/cultivation. And there you can decide whether you want to do a 20-minute clarity call, which is free. It's just like my consultation, just to get a vibe on if we are a fit, if you vibe with me and I vibe with you, and you feel comfortable with the way that I coach. Or you can look at the other options, and if you want to just jump right in, you can jump right in with doing the hour session, a single session, or a month session, or a few month session, however you choose to do. All of that, like I said, is at softandblack.com/cultivation. Also, though, if you are looking and you just want to get your toes wet, I am starting an exclusive group called Soft and Black Collective. This is a pay exclusive group where we will have group sessions, we will have workshops, webinars, and also some exclusive treats that I give you every month for being a part of the group, which will be a tool that we use in our group sessions, in our self-care practices and rituals to continue our journey of tapping in and connecting with our feminine energy and evolving and growing and just standing out and living in all our authenticity and fully being who we truly are. So yes, make sure y'all like and subscribe to my YouTube. Definitely go and become a member if you're a Black woman at Attract Your Tribe. Black woman over 21 at Attract Your Tribe, and you could go and join for free at softandblack.com/community. And check out, I have I have my podcast over there too. I have my letters from her mind over there as well. So you could go over there and enjoy that over there as well. And yeah, that's all. Y'all make sure y'all go share this, please. Share this to anybody who needs to hear this. And I will check y'all out next time. Peace and blessings.